Hey guys, welcome back to Grimerica show. We just wanted to jump in here quick before this bonus app starts up with a kill cause. We're going to talk about Graham's trip to the Red Pill Festival
Expo
down in Bozeman.
So funny.
Nothing. Remember, you got all pissed off because I called it a festival. Anyway, we're going to talk about that a little bit and a few other things. We just wanted to jump in quick because we have started a new thing to thank the people that support the show. As a big thank you to the supporters we do have that have signed up for monthlies or donated or continue to donate and support the show and keep us going. And we've been trying to think of a way that we could pay you guys back. We talked in the past about doing a wall or something like that, or a tribute wall or some crap.
And we also have more content, right? We have some extra content actually, and we've been wanting to put a little bit more content out.
That's right.
So yeah, we decided to do an extra feed for the people that have donated.
Yeah, basically, anyone who supports the show at any level, whether it's a one-time donation,
or any monthly
subscription, whether it's your $1 a month or anything above.
Hopefully something above, but
yeah, or even people that, if you have a current monthly, you're already signed up. And as the monthly payments come in, I'm sending out the link. It's not a link. It's an RSS feed that you copy into your podcast player. It comes out just like this show does. But anyway, sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Well, no, you're just talking about how you're going to actually provide this service to people. So there's an extra feed.
Yeah, exactly. As the payments come in, I'm emailing that out. If you want that, so it might take me a few weeks to get to yours, just because
for the people that are subscribers already. So.
Yeah, but if you're a subscriber already and you don't want to wait, you can just email me and I'll just send it to you. Just let me know. It's too hard to go through all the past donations too, so I'm just going to start with donations from this point forward. One-time donations,
Yeah.
If you made a donation in the past and you can't make another one, if you can just send me a screenshot, or if you just email me and tell me you did, I'll probably believe you.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to try and get over on us. I just don't want to go through all the past emails and send, it's too hard. It's too much.
So we want to grow the show, and we've been thinking about ways to do that. Actually, we had another venture in mind too. We were doing that for a while, but that sort of fell apart. So we want to put more efforts into Grimerica, and also find a way to thank the people who have done this. So we have extra content, and we want to do extra content. Some of it will be more controversial. Some of it'll be a little bit more sporadic and
there's
and
no
oddball.
kind of
It's just gonna be a bunch of different things.
It's going to be. It's just going to be kind of whatever we want to do. We've played around with the idea of doing some debate shows where we debate each other on something.
Yeah, there'll be some interviews, maybe some
interviews with some past guests that otherwise we wouldn't have time to squeeze in, or some interviews that are maybe a little too.
Yeah. So also by the time this is coming out, we'll have already populated this feed with at least 7 episodes. So there'll be like the old mushroom episode.
The mushroom app's in there, so that'll probably be the only way to get that now.
The cabin episode.
That's in there now.
There'll
be a couple of ones.
Four of them probably that were recorded for that other venture, which was called the Unaffiliated Media Group, which will just be Grimerica.
Yeah, that we'll just dump in here now.
So let's talk about those a little bit. There'll be we did one on Black Budget. James was with us on that, and Justin as well. We did one on Black Budgets.
Yeah.
And we did one on cyber stuff, like we were going to call it Cyber Sunday, which is really interesting. And then you guys did one on...
We did one on the mainstream media, who owns it. And then we did another one on George Soros. And I think, all that UMG stuff is still going to happen. I just don't think we're going to be a part of it, or at least not a very big part. We might lend a hand where we can. And when it does come out, we'll help those guys out as much as we can and promote it and wish them the best of luck. We just decided if we're going to sink any extra effort into anything at this point, we should just sink it into this.
Yeah. And
I don't mean just the premium fee or the bonus content specifically. I mean, into Grimerica.
Actually, that's the other good point is this free feed will always be free.
Yeah. Nothing will change.
And it'll always be the same amount. We'll try and get a little bit of extra interviews out in this one as well, like we do. Like it's not just one a week. Every once in a while we throw an extra in there.
Yeah, nothing will change.
Nothing will change.
if you just support the show, you'll get emailed another feed that'll come out with a couple shows a month.
Yeah. And then there's another episode going to be in there as well, which is our chat with Daniel from the End of Days Radio. We recently recorded it, so he asked us a bunch of questions in there, and
Yeah, so that'll be in there too. So yeah, by the time this comes out, there'll be 6 or 7 eps in there, and then starting in August, we'll throw an extra couple in a month. And like I say, all you have to do is support the show at any level.
Did I mention that we were trying to pay off our debt as well, like the investment that we put into this? And it would be nice to start planning for the future a little bit. Yeah. Like if we get enough monthlies to pay off that debt and cover the expenses, then
everything gets better. So just remember that. I mean, if we can get a bit of a budget going here to upgrade some stuff, I mean, obviously it's not just the people getting the bonus content that are going to benefit from that. It's going to be across the board.
Yeah.
And gives us the options of exploring, other things that otherwise we would have never considered.
Yeah.
So, we just wanted to jump in here, throw all that shit down, throw all that at you. It's still value for value. We're just starting to reward those who are providing the value.
Yeah.
Because without those motherfuckers,
there wouldn't be a show.
It'd just be like, me.
Some say they like coast to coast, but on demand, raw and uncut interviews, and all without no ads. One says false and one says true, and the rate you sing grows too. Grimerica is here for you. Stories from the listeners, they sent to Graham. He'll read them and be amazed, but Darren may say no. One says red and one says blue, but if it's balls it just won't do. Grimerica is here for you.
Okay, how'd you get her to pronounce my name like you do, Graham?
I didn't even notice that.
Did you spell it Gram for her?
I might have.
Yeah, of course.
All right, guys, welcome to Grimerica Bonus Show. We're going to do the Red Pill Roundup, as well as round up a little bit of my little trip. Then we got Kosz here. He's kind of new to this show, actually. I think he's only listened to about 30 episodes. He's got a lot of back catalog to get through. Yeah, it should be a fun one. We got Killer Kosz here with us. And
Killer Kosz? Is that what we call it?
Yeah. Graham fucking Red Pill Dunlop. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good. Yeah.
You can just call him Kosz. You don't have to call him Killer Kosz.
Is that from like Slapshot? Killer Dave?
Are you asking me or Killer Kosz?
Kosz.
High school email address. It stuck with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
My email address is from Slapshot. Player coach Reg Dunlop. I shouldn't say
nice.
that.
You are an idiot.
Never mind, everybody. It's Graham. It's Graham at Grimerica.com.
So welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on, guys. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're going to do a little recap of my trip. So we took is that you fucking around? You can't move. You can't move with that headset on. That's the thing. That's the thing with those Apple headsets.
Apple headset. Oh, the mic. Is he talking through the Apple? Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good quality.
Yeah.
Is it?
Are you on your phone or a laptop?
iPad.
Tablet.
iPad, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. It's good quality. Better than most of our guests. We should just tell our guests to do that. Just go on an iPad with your new headset from Apple, directly from the
No, we shouldn't tell them to do that.
Why?
No, that's not ideal.
It's better than 80% of audio.
No, just let me deal with you. So welcome to the show, Kosz. We're going to do a quick rundown. Graham, of course, went to Montana for the weekend for the Red Pill Expo, and I took a 2-week vacation back to Northern Ontario. And you guys didn't even notice, of course, because we pre-recorded a couple shows for you, which actually dated a couple intros, and the fix for the chats was a couple weeks later than we expected. But we're new to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I noticed a couple messes up with the time thing.
With timelines, with them coming out so much later than we're normally used to. But it wasn't too bad, all in all. It's a good time. So I guess you want me to go first?
Yeah, well, I mean, right into your trip, I was getting texts and you were in the chats. You're going, oh, this has been quite amazing already. And you're talking, I think you were sending pictures of moose in trees or something. And you were like, so much has gone on already. It's going to be a long episode. And I was like, what is he talking about? But you were like, there was major drama, or did you not take notes or anything?
No, nothing. But, well, like right off the bat, because I was going for a wedding and I was the MC of the wedding.
Oh, boy.
And, like, I was fucking late leaving, too, because I wanted it just worked out because the sister-in-law was having kids, so I wanted it to be later so we could stay longer after. I didn't want to do a week before, a week after type thing. And the wedding was on the Saturday, so we left on the Thursday and drove, like, halfway.
Left Calgary, and then...
Left Calgary, drove, like, halfway, got a hotel in Brandon, Manitoba. I think we got a couple listeners in Brandon, Manitoba who get upset when I say they're from Winnipeg. Brandon is better than Winnipeg. Because is from Winnipeg, so we got to watch this show.
Oh, it's all good. I just live here. I wasn't born here.
Oh, is that how it works? If you weren't born there, it doesn't matter.
I don't have a lot of Winnipeg pride, but that's okay.
Okay, good.
Have you been to Thermia, Cause?
I've heard of it.
Oh, it's
My
unbelievable.
wife wants to check that out. That's wild.
No, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Totally relaxing. It's got the cold plunge and a bunch of saunas and steam rooms, and it's unreal. Yeah, super
Need
chill.
that for sure.
Yeah.
So we stayed in Brandon and unload everything into the room, get the kids into bed, and I'm like, all the suits and the kids' dresses and the wife's dress for the wedding are all like wrinkled and crammed in the trunk. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll hang them overnight in the hotel closet so that they can de-wrinkle, and then tomorrow we hang them again.
No.
So in the morning we pack up.
This type of thing happens to me at work every day with Darren.
We do like 3 fucking scans around the room.
Oh. But all the clothes are left in the closet.
So, but get this. So where the closet is in relation to the hotel door. So it's like when you open the door, it blocks the closet.
Yeah.
So we've got the kids already in the car. So we just leave the hotel room door open and we do like, each of us does a scan. We're like, okay, we'll do one more final scan, checking like under the beds and shit.
Holy shit.
That scan doesn't include opening the closet door.
There's no door on the closet, but the open hotel door was blocking it. So anyway, get up, drive all the way. It takes us longer to get there than we thought to. So we finally got to the cabin. It was late, and we're just unpacking. And I'm like, fuck. We left the suits in Brandon.
You knew right away they were in the closet? Like you remember?
Yeah. As soon as they were in the trunk, I was like, we left them in the fucking hotel. So like the first thing that pops into my head is I'm driving back to fucking Brandon right now. Because I've still got like 16 hours to the wedding.
And how many hours to Brandon?
15. To get there and back would be about 14, 15. And I'm like, okay, no. I'm like, I'm panicking. You know, I don't want to buy a new suit. I can't afford a new suit.
But the kids' clothes as well? Like everybody's wedding attire?
The wife's clothes. But the wife had enough. The wife wasn't the MC. So Lisa she had another nice enough dress. It doesn't matter. We had all matching stuff was the thing. Like my tie matched the girl's dress and her dress. And it was all pre-planned. Months in advance. And, but I needed a suit. And Red Lake's not a big town. So getting a suit that fits you, your options are going to be limited and you're going to pay a fortune for it. So I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? And then, so my mother-in-law, we were thinking she could drive and get it. But then it was like so much driving. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'll get my sister. Like, she doesn't mind night driving. My mother-in-law is in Winnipeg, which is only 3 hours from Brandon. My sister's in Winnipeg. I'm in Red Lake. I'm 5 hours, 6 hours from Winnipeg, and Brandon's another 2.5. From there, and my mother-in-law was there, and she was coming to Red Lake the next day in the morning. I was like, well, if we can get the suit to her for 6 in the morning, then she can have it back here for noon. I'll have a couple hours. Like, okay, I text my sister and I was like, okay, I'll give you $100 to run to Brand. I'll pay your gas and I'll give you $100 to run.
You couldn't just ask her to do it for free?
No, it's like a 2.5 hour drive in the middle of each way. So she's got to drive 5 hours in the middle of the night now.
Oh.
She's leaving at 10 at night. She's leaving. Line it up at the hotel. So boom, she leaves. Like, okay, so I go to bed thinking I've got the problem solved. Fucking 3 a.m, boom, phone rings. My sister had just bought this truck. It's like a week old. Just got safetied a week ago. And the fucking tire falls off. Well, her and my daughter and my niece are fucking driving down the highway in the middle of the night. Because now she's broken down, stuck on the side of the road.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of fucking nowhere. Trying to get my suit. Wow. Then she ends up she has got CAA, luckily. So she's able to get a tow truck towed to Brandon. And then, so she had to get I had to get her a hotel for the night now because it's 4 a.m. And so I got her a hotel. She went. Actually, I think she stayed in like the exact same room I stayed in the night before, and got like clothes. So Manitoba has this stupid new law, and she doesn't have a credit card. So Manitoba has this stupid new law that we can't book her a car. The credit card has to be physically present. So Enterprise, no place, through Expedia.
Yeah, a lot of places to do that now.
I can't rent a car and have her pick it up. So she's fucking stuck. She's stuck. And I'm responsible. I got her there. And so I'm like, what are we going to do? So anyway, call all the Enterprises, can't do anything. Finally, I find a U-Haul that'll do it if we jump through all these hoops. Pictures of the front and back of the credit card, a written statement, blah, blah, blah. Faxed form, got to sign that, send it back. We're at a cabin in the woods, so we got to drive fucking into town, find a place to get it printed out, sign it, send it back. And they let her take the U-Haul truck. So it's only like $30 a day, but then you only get 100 kilometers. And then it's by the kilometer. And it's like fucking 300 kilometers from her there to her house. And then it says, well, you have to return it back here. So it's 600 kilometers. And, our hands are tied. I got to get her home. She's got dogs at home. She's got my niece with her. No clothes, no nothing. So like, okay, get the U-Haul. And then, so now obviously I don't have a suit. And, it took me one phone call, about 10 minutes. I had a suit that fit me, borrowed for free. And if I would have just calmed down for a minute and slept on it or just accepted it instead of trying to
immediately fix it
in panic mode, it ended up costing me like $600 the whole idea.
That's rough. So please donate to the show.
Oh, it was so brutal, man. It's just like, oh my God.
We have monthly and we have one-time donations available. Grimerica/support.
It was fucking devastating. Oh. Other than that, though, I caught a ton of fish. After that, things fucking...
Well, that can't be the whole... it can't be the whole...
That was the ordeal. That was when I texted you.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a fucking trip.
What about the moose in the trees?
Well, that was just a moose we saw, took a picture of. You see a ton of wildlife there. We went to the Winnipeg Zoo. That was real cool. There was like polar bears. They have a real cool polar bear exhibit. And the seals, too, were really cool. The seals, like, fuck with you through the glass.
Really?
Pretty neat, yeah. And the forks are amazing. The forks are a cool little market type thing with some of this and some of that. Cause could probably talk about it a little bit more than I have. I've only been there. I didn't really see much when I was there, but I know we did spend quite a bit of time checking out. They've got it's like a modern day megalith.
Wow.
Yeah, it's basically you can go there on a nice clear night. You can pinpoint constellations through, I don't know, a monolith kind of thing.
Yeah, they've got these these brick little fucking bases with these steel fucking scopes on them with sights coming on them.
Yeah,
and then they'll have a plaque that if you come here on this day of the night, you'll be able to see this right through these dots. There's like 8 of them. Actually, you know what? I think if you Yeah, why don't you talk about the Forks for a minute, Cos?
Sure. I mean, a lot of attractions there. That's where the Red and the Cinnabon meet, and they're, so it's basically a market there with, events now and then. It's a neat little attraction. Have you ever been to Winnipeg before, Graham?
A couple times, yeah. Yeah, not many times. I think I played hockey there one weekend, and I went through there once on my way up to the Lake of the Woods to do fishing, which was the most amazing fishing I've ever done.
Up Kenora area, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even know where it was. It was a while ago, but yeah, it was probably that around there. And then, and then I went last year, and that's when I did the Thermia thing, which was unreal.
All right.
Yeah. I would do that. I would go back to Winnipeg just to go to Thermia again.
Just for that, yeah. I don't know, my wife's been bugging me about that. I'd love to go check that out, too. I think it's important just to take a step back and relax.
Yeah,
it's a place to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it here. So here's what it is. It's called the Odina Celebration Circle. This is a place for gathering and celebrating, a monument to the cultural and natural forces that have drawn people to the Forks for thousands of years. Forests our ancestors held sacred as a place to contemplate the journey of the heavens and to mark the seasons, a spiritual refuge in the center of the city which connects us to the past, to our surroundings, and to each other.
Wow, cool. Yeah, I'm going to check that out when I go there next time.
Yeah, and then each one will have, they've got the Leo one, it'll have a little write-up about Leo, and then you go there, it'll tell you which day of the night. So this one here, for example, is November 1st at 10:33 p.m. It'll be in the sites. Regulus. And you'll be looking at the constellation of Leo. There's another one here that you'll look at. What's the date on this one? March 21st at 9:02 p.m. And that's one of the Orion stars. Oh, and then there's another one you can look through. There's two on that one, and then I've got another one on December 21st at 4 p.m. So, there you go. If you're in Winnipeg and you don't know or close to Winnipeg or going to Winnipeg, I would definitely recommend checking it out.
It's hard to believe how reliable that is, right? That we're, with all the catastrophes that have happened and all the planets that could be colliding and that we're going to the universe.
This was built in 1997.
Yeah, I know, but there's ancient ones as well, right? For thousands of years that you can tell what's going on. And yet, we're so vulnerable in one way that we could die from an asteroid tomorrow. And yet this thing, the stars repeat themselves consistently in the sky.
It's all charted and timed out. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, a few thousand years is nothing in the scheme of things, I suppose.
It's true.
So have you emceed a wedding before?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, this is my second MC of a wedding.
How did it feel after being a podcaster?
It's
more comfortable? Way easier?
Yeah, probably easier.
You nervous?
I had a couple drinks. The last couple times I went there, I had to give eulogies, so it was, a real nice change of pace. So I was pretty excited to be there with everybody kind of laughing and drinking instead of crying.
Right.
Makes for a way easier podium.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I fucked up Buddy's name once because I was like, so here's the other thing. So I'm going to this. No, one of the
best man.
Nah, after the best, not the best man. I got him.
A groomsman or whatever?
Yeah, groomsman. So here's the other thing. So my cousin is definitely not the most prepared person in the world. So she keeps telling me, because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get there till the day before. So she's like, oh, don't worry. I'll have it all for you. Okay, so the wedding's Saturday. So at fucking 1 a.m. on Thursday night, I get a couple of texts of like, here's who you got to thank. Here's the caterer. Here's this. Here's that. Here's the groomsman. Here's this. Boom. I get a paragraph, and a couple of names. 2 days before the wedding. And I'm like, okay, well, that's all right. When I get there, she'll have more, but no, there was nothing else. So I went into it and I had I'm trying to turn these texts into as much as I can on a cue card, but I did okay. Fucked up the name the one time. Other than that, I'd say it went pretty well.
That's just karma getting you back for all the times you make fun of me messing up names.
I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't bug me too much.
No.
Then we
Doesn't
went back
bug
to
me.
Winnipeg. We were at the zoo, and that's of course when I was hanging out with Kosz. We did a couple episodes. We did an episode of FTK where we circled the city.
I did 2 laps around the perimeter. Pretty crazy. 2 hours worth of driving.
Which is fucking crazy because I drove like fucking 6,000 kilometers.
Just to drive around circles in Winnipeg.
Yeah, because I went from here to Red Lake, back to Winnipeg, back to Red Lake, and then back to here.
Sorry, how far is it again from Winnipeg to Red Lake?
It's like, probably would say like 500 or 600 kilometers.
Okay.
Yeah,
500
5 hours. 5 hours.
Yeah, 5 hours, yeah.
So that's 1,000. Then it's probably 2,000 from here all the way to there is like 2,000.
You caught some good fish?
Yeah, I caught probably 100 fish, 120.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind? Bass?
I only caught one northern, and the rest are all pickerel.
Oh, that's crazy.
Ate a lot of fish. You can only keep so many, but we still catch them and release them. Then we got one. We caught a big northern, kept coming after the pickerel. When you're reeling in the one fish, the bigger fish is coming and trying to eat it.
That's
So we caught one with the net. Well, it was trying to eat.
That's my experience of fishing in Lake of the Woods, is watching that pike chase the lure right up to the boat.
Look, there's the pike with the walleye in its mouth.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you did catch a walleye. Oh, was that a
that's what
pickerel? Oh,
is.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. As far as fish I've eaten, it seems to be the best tasted one.
Is that the one where you just pull up to the side of the lake and then they'll just deep fry it right there and you cut it open and you have that?
Well, I'd imagine people do that with all sorts of.
This one seemed to be like perfect for that though.
Yeah.
When I was there.
No, I'd say it's the best.
Yeah,
Pickerel walleye.
just kind of melts in your mouth, you know? Yeah. And that's about it for me.
So
really.
lots of stars? Did you spend lots of time in the woods, or were you visiting most of the time? Or?
A lot of visiting out at the cabin, a lot of time, you know, in the water, on the water.
Yeah.
Eating good food.
Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah.
Busier than I'd like, you know. It always seems to be busy, but what can you do?
Yeah. Right on, buddy.
Yeah.
Do you got anything to add to that, Cause?
Well, he did miss the Red River X. I mean, the family went there and didn't quite make it out, but I did end up having a deep fried Oreo sundae, which I think Grimes might be jealous of.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was one of those, you know, once in a year kind of treats. It's pretty crazy. Never had that before. Never had deep fried Oreos before, but it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're good.
Are you on a pretty strict diet? Because you lost a ton of weight in the last year, didn't you?
About 40 pounds since September. Started from September to December, and it's like, well, you know what? It's all self-imposed. You know, better choices in carbs, meal portions, cut out pop, chips, that kind of stuff, candy, and start off going to the track maybe, you know, every other day or so. Worked up to 4 kilometers. Off and on between running and walking, and lose about 40 pounds in 5 months or so.
Wow, good for you.
Maintain through winter. Thanks.
Yeah, good.
It's pretty awesome.
It's amazing. Eh? Just like the carb part and the portions and just cutting out the junk. Like it's amazing how quickly you can notice a difference.
So you didn't cut out carbs completely?
No, it's smaller portions of carbs too.
Complex carbs instead of the simple carbs or that kind of thing.
Well, it's more leaning towards rice than bread and all that kind of stuff. Or if we're having hot dogs, hamburgers, forget about the bun, stuff like that.
That's exactly what I've been doing. I was talking about it in the last intro. I'm cutting out wheat and grain a lot, which is most of the carbs that I eat, right? Like. No, I'm not. I'm just trying none of it for now. Well, I mean, it's impossible for me to go none because I don't even realize it's in some stuff. But yeah, just trying to do. And I did this biofeedback device, and she was telling me rice, like even basmati rice, was good for me right now. Mm-hmm. And I remember having that episode with that guy who was telling us that the leaky gut, you could really help that with rice and rice pudding. So made some rice pudding and
did you?
Yeah, man. So I try and make myself a big thing of rice, and then I have that as my carb.
Right now I have a bunch of rice. I have a bunch of the rice from the Indians up back home. The wild rice, they sell it in the stores there. A lot of sweet dream catchers and stuff like that, all made by
handmade stuff.
Handmade, yeah, by the local Indians, native Canadians, I guess, as it were.
So, what was the hardest part about that change?
I'd probably say, I don't know, desserts too, cutting those out.
Yeah.
Because it's everybody's having dessert. I'm like, you know what? Stay on track. No, thank you. And I think that's pretty tough. And, staying on track, that your willpower to cut all that kind of stuff out was I think, the toughest thing. I think it always is, not giving in, right? Because it's so easy to say yes. Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? I'll have this and this. And at the end of the day, you're not going to go anywhere if you do that, if you're trying to reach a goal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because there's a physical craving to that stuff too. I find,
and it takes a while. It's like, I guess, with anything, smoking, drinking, anything, you're kind of addicted to it. But even though sometimes you don't realize you're addicted to the sugar and the salt, and I think that's huge in today's society.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't even think about it. Right? They're just all right, chips, soda, etc. Just to fill the void if they're bored, right?
Frappuccino right now.
Yeah. Starbucks. Yeah. Is that bad?
I don't even want to know how much sugar is in a fucking white chocolate mocha frappuccino.
Oh, that's an extra fancy one. Whipped cream.
With whipped cream.
Yeah. Yeah. I was drinking earlier. I had a not pomegranate, a passion fruit tea with honey in it. It's like, why not? Something different.
Yeah.
Huh. Coffee and water.
Are you where you're at? Are you where you want to be at right now? Are you sticking sort of plateauing, or?
I'm about pretty much plateauing. I kind of picked it up. I went got a 3-month membership at the gym and started working out, and that kind of came and went, and now it's warmed up and I'm back at the track again and just trying to maintain. I've been maintaining for quite a while.
Right on.
Maybe do 10 less pounds so you see what that looks like.
Yeah.
See what I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where I want to be at, 10, 15 off right now.
Yeah, that's not too bad. A little success story. You should write a little giblet. Is that what you call the little mini book, a giblet?
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's found inside a turkey, yeah.
A little 99-cent giblet. Ebook.
Ebook, yeah. How about blog? I don't know.
How about you, Grambo? You went to the expo.
Yeah, man, the Red Pill Expo, which is weird now because Red Pill all of a sudden seems to have been sort of taken over by all these other types of themes and memes as well, which is kind of weird. Yeah. Okay, we get the picture. Yeah, we get it. Okay, and that's it.
It goes on for a minute.
Jesus, just got to interrupt me with that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sorry. I just can't help it.
So anyways, this was Red Pill Expo put on by G. Edward Griffin and Freedom Force International, I guess. And I don't know, it was really professionally done. It was, we've been to some conferences. That's kind of like what Darren and I, when we started this podcast after going to a conference together. And it was pretty well organized. There's like 600 people. It was packed.
Would you say
in Bozeman, Montana.
Or worse organized than?
Oh, it was better, way better. Yeah, it was really good, really well organized.
Everybody got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
That's good.
And the people, like a ton of different types of people there, super nice. Everybody was friendly, pretty open-minded. There was some fringier people as well, but lots of people nice. The guests were really nice, hanging around afterwards, chatting with people, answering questions.
Who's a fringier person?
Me?
Fringier. You were the fringier? Yeah, I could see that.
No, there's some conspiracy. There was a lot of... Look, we're talking about banking and sort of government conspiracies and like cancer and 9/11 and it goes, the list goes on, right? So
you seen Ty
Bollinger
was Corbett there?
Corbett was there on Skype, yeah. and Rappaport, which was funny. Two of our past guests were there via Skype.
And a few other past guests were there.
You know, I had a couple great lunches. They have a big barbecue thing outside and sat down with some other people. And everybody's just chatting and you're meeting people and having great conversation. And it's really interesting. A lot of it was about freedom, really.
It's all about freedom,
which was interesting, you know, and which also that sort of brings with it a political polarization as well nowadays, right? Because, you know, there was a lot of examples of mainstream media lying to people, like people in their personal example of being wrapped up in the fake news, whether they had stories written about them or whether they were in the middle of it or whether they worked around it or in it. There was a lot of these stories, and the central theme being like we're basically in a shit ton of lies and fake news or fake, you know, like deception in the media.
Did you go to all the talks?
No, I missed a couple, but I went to most of them.
Whose was your favorite? Or am I fucking up your little order? Do you have a little order for your little rundown?
Kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Robert Kiyosaki was pretty good. He's a great speaker.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Yeah. Yeah. You know about that?
I have his book on my shelf, but I haven't read it yet. I know the premise.
You do have it, eh? I might order his new book. It was really, his talk was really interesting. It kind of made me think about money a little differently.
We should have him on the show.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think so, no.
He's hard to get, probably, too.
I introduced myself to him, but...
He didn't... Oh, is this why it's a personal thing?
No, not at all.
He didn't like you?
No. Oh, it's funny. So I might as well, before I forget, I might as well say a shout out to some other guests that we met there. Actually, well, we met a couple listeners too, Sam and Desiree. What am I saying? Desiree.
Maybe it's Desiree. I don't know. You met
there
her.
is two E's on the end. Anyways, shout out to them. And I met this guy, John Adair, who created an app for Bitcoin. And he's a cryptocurrency and privacy advocate. And he had this idea where he was, took me a while to wrap my head around it, but he would donate cash to a merchant, get them on this app. No, he would donate Bitcoin to a merchant and get them on this app. So I think he was like paying this forward to get a merchant on this app so that other people that came in and asked about Bitcoin would be able to use Bitcoin.
In the store?
Yeah, like let's say you go to a store and you donate $20 to get them on this app. You just give them $20 in Bitcoin to get them on this app.
Change.
So that it gets them in the system and in the Bitcoin system. So when somebody else comes in, they actually have Bitcoin to transact with.
Huh. Sounds sketchy.
Also met this guy from Freedom Force International, Thomas Hadadzi. Yeah. And
Thomas.
He might come on the show with another guy from Freedom Force. Thomas. Yeah.
Mas Hadadzi.
Yeah, we had some good chats. And,
did you with this guy?
Yeah.
Don't fight City Hall, be City Hall.
That's right.
I like that.
Yeah, message. A lot of people creating change on their own here, and like there's some really good examples of like citizen journalism and people just making stuff happen.
There we go.
In a peaceful, proactive way.
Commandments of freedom. Individual rights. Only individuals have rights, not groups. Therefore, do not sacrifice the rights of any individual for the alleged rights of groups. Equality under law. To favor one class of citizens over others is not equality under law. Therefore, do not endorse any law which does not apply to all citizens equally. And finally, proper role of the state. The proper function of the state is to protect, not to provide. Therefore, do not approve coercion for any purpose except to protect human life, liberty, or property.
Yeah.
There you have it. Oh,
there you go. He was reading it off of Thomas's card.
Thomas.
So, and I met this guy who was in the mainstream media channel. Like, he didn't tell me exactly what he did, but he was there with his wife. Oh, no, he was there. I think he was there on his own. I'm thinking about somebody else. And
You're thinking about somebody else's wife.
He was very funny. He was in the supply chain somehow. I think he was making deals maybe with advertisers or something like that with these big networks. So he works like closely with CBS. And he was there at work.
That's CIA.
At work this day. No, he wasn't a shill. I could tell.
You could tell. Yeah. You got a shill detector. So if you're worried you might have a spook around, just ask Graham. He can tell.
Yeah. The Shildar. So,
what did you say to the spook?
What?
What did you say to your buddy? Were you become buddies with this guy?
No, I probably gave him my card. Yeah, I gave everybody my card and stuff.
You know about the show?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe that's why your microphone's crackling. Is that what you're blaming me now?
I haven't heard from James in a while either.
Yeah. So, anyways, he was a
new handler.
So he was at CBS during the Ferguson. Was Ferguson the hands up, don't shoot one? Was that?
I don't know. I've lost count.
Oh, come on.
You know cause?
I don't know.
So let's just, people will know what I'm talking about, but it was during the Ferguson thing where CBS sent a team of reporters over there to get a bunch of scoops, and they came back and they had a bunch of scoops and they had this big story ready to run with all these different interviews and points of view. And he was in there with the program manager at the time. And they got the call coming down from on high saying, hands up, don't shoot. That's the story. You stick with that. And they're like, no. We've got this whole thing made. No. They were told to do the hands up, don't shoot, which was total bullshit.
Wow.
And he was there when that whole fucking thing went down.
On the record?
Off the record.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't presenting or anything?
No, he was just another attendee.
He's not willing to go on the record?
I don't know if it matters at this point. I mean, everybody knows it was a meme, right? Whether he's got proof or not, I mean...
Yeah.
They just get away with this shit. It's unbelievable.
It's be more like a whistleblower type scenario, I would look at it as.
Yeah. And you know what kind of damage that causes, right? That's just inciting racism and all kinds of stuff.
Totally.
So another example of fake news. So the expo was written about in a local paper. I should have tried to find the article. Claiming that we were a bunch of white supremacists. It's unbelievable how fucking fake it is.
You're a white supremacist?
So one of the guests read that. We had 2 black women presenting. There was 2 black women guests. There was people of all, there was, Latinos, Mexicans, every creed and color there.
Indian? Was there an Indian?
Yep.
Like my kind of Indian?
I don't know. You can hardly tell you're an Indian.
That's racist. You son of a bitch.
So anyways, yeah. So totally, far from the truth, right? This is how polarizing and how fucked up the media is. Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Even like a local newspaper, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really crazy.
Yeah.
How big is Bozeman, Montana?
I think it's like 50, 60,000 people. It's not big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my girlfriend and I went out for dinner a couple times there. It was cool little town. It was a cute little town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyways, that's the rundown of the sort of the logistics and the people around it. So the theme was really about the red pill, right? Like we talked about, Cause, where, a lot of the guests talked about their awakening or their like the red pill moment or experience, right? Like a lot of them actually were about reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, which is one of the top kind of conspiracy books out there. So they talk about, what happened and how they sort of started to awaken to what's going on and the lies that we've been told. And I mean, it sounds so cliche, the lies we've been told, but when you start to list them all out and when you start to realize, like, my road down this road was always gradual, right? Like gradually sort of one thing, my timing wouldn't be right for me to, to be interested about whatever, but eventually I would come around to certain things, right? Even whether it was about spirituality or healing types of things or, that type of stuff. And some of these people had like an instant moment.
You guys are racist, alt-right. It was an alt-right recruitment effort.
Yeah.
Did you get recruited?
Yeah.
Are you alt-right now?
Yeah, I'm alt-right now.
That's from the BDC, whatever the fuck that is.
Unbelievable.
What else do we got here?
Crazy.
I mean, there was alt-right there, right? I mean, when you talk about freedom and the lies in the mainstream media, that probably fucking pigeonholes you right there to alt-right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, a lot of it was about, you know, the scientism and the bullshit religion that's become, and mainstream media and the government lies.
Food.
John B. Wells was the MC. He was talking about the MSM being the ministry, smoke and mirrors. I guess that's his tagline.
Who's John B. Wells again?
He's from Caravan to Midnight.
That's right.
So he was there. He did a good job at MCing. And then Joel Saladin was, he spoke pretty early on there. He's one of our past guests. And his chat was really good. It was really interesting about his hunt for truth. And, you know, the only way he made his examples were about the way the government was sort of clamping down on stuff, right? The overregulation and all the times, all the fights they had with these government agencies coming in and trying to shut them down because there wasn't a bathroom in this area, but there was one 100 meters that way and one 100 meters that way. But, you know, technically there was no windows in these walls. So they wanted to put walls up so that they could have windows because that's how it was written in the regulations. And Joel's like, there's no walls. You don't need to put a window where there's no wall. Like, so crazy over regulations.
Yeah. Build a wall to put a window in it. That's crazy.
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff, and he talked a lot about studies on clean food and how much better his food is than all the GMO shit that's out there. You know, him being, you know, running this farm that's basically way beyond organic.
I don't think he's certified organic though.
No, because it's beyond organic. He won't do the organic certification. There's a bunch of things that he doesn't even want to do, right? Like composting temperatures, for example. He won't do the compost temperature that they want him to do. His solution is proclamation emancipation on food. So he's talking about examples of Uber and Airbnb. So there should be a proclamation that says you are allowed food of your choice, where you choose, and how you choose, right? Because part of the whole thing was that they wouldn't allow it's
Food
like
Network, raw milk, fucking I got tomatoes, we've got this, we've got that.
Yeah.
I just picked some fresh raspberries on the way into the studio.
Yep. So that's so, you know, a lot of people had solutions here as well. And then Jeff Berwick came on. He was the dollar vigilante. And he talked about, well, that's his whole website thing. It was a lot about financial stuff, right? And then his red pill was at the .com collapse, and he read the book Jekyll Island. And then he started seeing all these examples of problems in our society, right? Waters, chemtrails, education, scientism, and then statism and government being a belief. And then he mentioned loose change as well.
Right.
And
I remember watching that.
And then he talked about, you know, of course, everything being a lie, but then getting into medical stuff and fasting, you know, and I really want to get into fasting a bit. I want to do some fasting myself, and the medical benefits they're just amazing. They're huge, right? And I listened to that podcast with the on the way down here. I listened to the podcast on fasting with my girlfriend. And it's funny how, you know,
on the way down here,
even, you know, we're just forced to eat stuff, right? We're told to eat stuff. We're told to eat all these things. Nobody really looks at like how beneficial fasting is. Yet in a hospital setting, you're told to fast before operations. You're told to fast before testing. You're told to fast all these other specific times, right? Except from trying to heal from a disease or whatever.
Huh.
Yeah. So anyways, I was that guy. Then there was a couple panels. Now, I had a bit of a problem with the panels because they had all these guys up on stage, and all they really did is come up and share a mic for 15 minutes. So there was a panel where there was questions asked to people. But in general, it was kind of not really a panel. It was just a shortened version of a presentation with other people waiting behind them on stage.
Yeah, well, that's a tough call, because then if you get everyone at the mic, then it just sometimes it's out of control.
Yeah, no doubt. So Josh from World alternative media. He's Canadian. He was there, and he was giving examples of the MSM in Canada, right? So he was the one that he went viral after he was questioning the Prime Minister.
Trudeau?
Yeah, about the carbon tax. And so he's kind of like one of these rogue, citizen journalism reporter kind of guys. And he was in there with the media. Somehow he got into this event with the media. And he saw how these questions were given to the media. It was all scripted. And Trudeau had all the questions ready, like all the answers ready. And he was spouting off questions about the carbon tax and totally going off script. And it took him like 3 of those times before they put their elbow into his throat and booted him out. And he was, yelling things on the way out or whatever.
Wow.
And his examples of the way the media spun that was amazing, right? I mean, it's a total spin machine. Example after example of this red pill of how the media lies and spins stuff, right? They put words in his mouth. They completely put his whole thing out of context. It was unbelievable. So he's out there doing all kinds of this stuff, and he's partnered with somebody else there, and it's World Alternative Media.
Huh.
And then Millie Weaver from InfoWars was there. She was doing some presentations as well as just recording live through InfoWars. I was trying to get the Grimerica shirt in there in the background a couple times, but
You're trying to photobomb some Grimerica?
I was trying to photobomb
onto AJ?
InfoWars, yeah.
No dice.
She talked a lot about examples of fake news, and she had a presentation of it, like Hillary's campaign, and there was stuff where like they were bussing in all these people to be there right for the TV moment, and it was all on video. Like, it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
It's all
I actually watched that
fake.
earlier today, and even the fact that they're trying to hide that an ambulance is a part of a regular motorcade and everything like that. It's like, no, she's sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what else here? So, Jerry Day was talking about smart meters, which was pretty crazy. I didn't realize they were able to measure like what's going on in your house. Like your coffee maker goes on in this time and your hairdryer in this time. And what are you doing? Using your washer too many times and all this stuff. And it can measure.
Who's got those?
Well, they're all over the States now. I don't know. I think they're happening in Canada as well, but they're catching on fire. There's some real dangers. They had a bunch of videos of these things catching on fire, and it's pretty.
This is for like public use.
Yeah, no, smart meters for your home, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Right.
Is that like the one that auto populates your fridge and stuff?
No, it's just like, how you have your analog meter for your electricity usage.
Yeah.
This is a smart one, right?
Oh, yeah.
And apparently it's causing a bunch of, damaging radiation, or would you call it even radiation, or the...
As well as sharing data.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that was a good one. Mike Adams, the health ranger, was on for a bit of a video.
Was he Skype
he talked about the Zika fakery, which was really interesting. And the mercury and the aluminum, the vaccines in California. There was a little bit about vaccines in here too. It was pretty crazy. So he was like and then he had a solutions part, and he was talking about healthy fats and eliminating aluminum and herbs and silica water and avoiding rice protein, licorice root to cleanse the liver, stuff like that.
He was there in person or Skype?
No, he was on the video.
I was trying to book him for a bit now.
And then Edward Goodliff was on that panel as well. He's from Alberta. Hopefully he'll come to the studio. He's part of the Freedom Force International, and he did a couple intros to the panels there. He's a well-spoken guy I think he's from the UK originally.
He's here in local or just Alberta?
Up north past Edmonton a bit.
Ah. Bingo bango.
So Ty Bollinger, one of your favorites, Darren, was there. He did a great chat, talk about his global quest and the vaccine one. The kid who died from chemo, and it's a lot of the cancer stuff.
I haven't watched the cancer ones yet.
He talked about conspiracy theories that are real. Actually, I just downloaded his Audible book.
Conspiracy theories that are real?
No, The Truth About Cancer.
Oh, how long is it?
It's 9 hours and 11 minutes. He talked about the Flexner report on medical establishment on drug and funding and vaxxed and the flu shots. Yeah, that was interesting stuff as well. We're going to have him on soon, I hope. And then, of course, Lord Moncton about climate change. Now, he had this new announcement. It was the first time he's ever announced this.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
This is going to throw the whole global warming hoax on its knees.
Speaking of new announcements, next week we're getting a first interview with someone.
Oh, are we? Is that next week?
Yeah, the 12th. I'll probably push that up, too, since he's pushing us up to the front of the line.
Yeah.
Well, we won't say who yet, but
it'll
be a surprise, bitches.
Right on. So where was I before Darren
interrupted
me again? Confirm my paper.
Climate change.
Climate change. Thanks. Yeah, they're going to bring the climate change, the global warming hoax to its knees. So he found a feedback loop error. Now this is confirmed by paper and experience, and it's a grave error 120 years into their equation. So that's his new announcement. But he did the traditional presentation with, not traditional, but, the typical climate change, man-made climate change hoax kind of thing. And again, he's not dogmatic. Like all the people I see from this side of it, and we've had some of them on our show, they're like, look, there's obviously some contribution from us, right? But how far are we going to go with that? And what is the actual effect? We don't know. They're not dogmatic. They're admitting there's something, right? But they're also looking at everything else as a big picture.
Big picture.
And then John Rappaport, he had a video about reality is being invented, which is really interesting. It was kind of hard to wrap my head around at first, but then I started realizing that we are, as we go along, we are inventing our own reality. And over the last 35 years, he's seen how bad things can get.
How bad can they get?
The Ohio zombies.
We're going to be zombies?
From pharmaceuticals. You heard about that?
No.
Yeah, we won't go there.
No?
And then Sherry Jackson was on the reality panel, Illusion of Income Tax, and then Universal Truths and the Declaration. Kind of sounds like what you read off that Freedom Force card there. Oh, she worked for the IRS, and she was raided, and then she was put in jail on a misdemeanor. And then she wrote a book in jail about how to stick it to the IRS. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Russell Gray came on too. There was a Patrick Henry speech as well. Russell Gray was a financial guy, like a real estate guy, and he had his Jekyll experience in his history there as well. His experience with cancer. And what else here? Patrick Wood from Technocracy News. And he talked about On the Road to Technocracy. And this is one of those interesting things, right? Talking about energy and the supply chain and individual consumption and the UN documents for the New World Economic Order. I mean, this is the type of thing. It's all there. It's all on paper. This is their plan, right? This is the globalist plan, the technocracy, energy-based accounting and migration and collecting data in the surveillance systems and quotations from 1934 on education. Like it's, yeah. Interesting stuff.
And Trudeau is all in.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we're leading the charge. Social justice warrior, and this globalist stuff. Our money's going to the Clinton Foundation, and our money's going to this convicted terrorist or just a terrorist that killed that U.S. guy? $10 million. Yeah. This is what's going on.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
No, you don't want to get into that? Yeah. Who are you going to piss off?
It seems to be it's a touchier subject than I fucking expected. That's for sure.
I mean, it's pretty. You got to figure it's pretty black and white, but I don't know.
I thought it was pretty black and white, but apparently there's a whole other side of it.
Is there? Was this since you and I had this discussion at dinner? Did something else come up on your Twitter? Because I was kind of challenging on it. I was like, well, do you know the other side? And you're like, oh, yeah, it seems pretty clear to me. But has somebody else besides me been challenging you since then?
Oh, just the same old. We wronged him by not saving him and letting them torture him.
Whoa.
Doesn't seem like a taxpayer problem to me. Maybe an apology. Maybe don't,
Well, he did kill a guy, right? And he was a terrorist, right? So
yeah. That's pretty black and white, but I don't know, maybe people make it out to be a butterfly effect that I couldn't have done anything about.
He was brainwashed.
Well, we're all brainwashed, especially in Canada.
Where's my check?
So then Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy, and he kind of had as an interesting take on money, right? Have you ever heard of the cash flow game at all? Have you ever played that?
No.
Apparently he made this cash flow game. It's like Monopoly, but it's called cash flow.
Huh.
And it's got he told us a bit about the Rich Dad, Poor Dad story, and he was an ex-Marine.
How's the cash flow game work?
Well, I'm probably going to get into that here a little bit. And he's talking about the difference between being an employee and an entrepreneur, right? And he wrote, he's written a bunch of books, and he's talking about the real financial education we get, right? Or that's what the cash flow game can give you, right? The real financial education. But he was talking about how we get brainwashed into where I thought I had it written down here. Yeah, you go to school, you go to school to get a job, right? You save your money, get out of debt, invest in stocks and bonds. That's the whole thing, right? You go to school, get a job, save your money, invest in stocks and bonds. And he's like, what is that going to get you, right? You're not getting any back on your investment these days. Interest rates are 0 or minus. They want you to save your money, pay off your debt. And he's like, it's all about the cash flow. So it's all about, and he went through the three main, the liabilities and the assets. And it's interesting you could go into debt to create cash flow, right? Why not?
Exactly. Yeah.
Why not? It's all about the cash flow. So forget about, owning your house when you could be putting that into something that's going to get you cash flow. It's really interesting. And he didn't really go into the depth of the solution because he's probably trying to sell more books.
Yeah.
And I heard a little bit of a controversy when I was researching this online before the show a little bit. I think one of his companies went bankrupt or something. So then there's people, he's
lost the cash flow game.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah, exactly. He'd probably tout it as a good move or something. But it is interesting to look at money in that way, right? Use debt to gain assets, right?
Sure.
Isn't that the standard model?
Yeah, done on a global scale all the time.
Well, it's not the standard model. You're not taught that growing up, right? You're taught the opposite, right? Save your money, get out of debt, right? Invest in stocks and bonds. Invest in their shit, right?
Yes. Bastards. I have his book on my shelf. I have a lot of books on my shelf. I still have Ephraim's book on my shelf.
So I missed a couple of chats about education. There was a lot on that as well. Debbie, I don't have her last name here. She was helping organize it. She had a myth on veganism, which is really interesting. And there's a water myth as well. I didn't write enough notes down on that, though.
What's veganism?
What?
What's veganism?
Veganism.
Oh, okay.
She says it's impossible, right? And she made a list of all the stuff that's made by oil.
Right.
All the stuff that, people normally consume that's made by oil or use.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It's the worst.
And she was talking about a dam destruction project, which is really bad. And then this was kind of interesting to me. I didn't realize that this was part of the problem with some of the windmills out there, the free energy. So Millie Weaver from InfoWars came on, and she talked about her research into the windmills, right? You know how you hear about them being damaging and stuff?
Damaging to... Well, I went and parked right beside a windmill, actually, on my way home.
Did you feel different? Did you get sick? Did you get a headache? Did your blood pressure spike?
I don't know.
Did you feel different?
I was in the middle of a day of driving down the Trans-Canada prairies with my kids.
Yeah.
Stuck in the car all day, so my blood pressure was running pretty high.
Different factors made that happen.
If anything, I would have said my time out of sight of the car beside the windmill was probably my blood pressure dropped a bit.
Yeah. Okay, that's not a good like scientific experiment there.
No.
That's interesting. I guess when I crossed the border to North Dakota at the Emerson crossing, they got windmills all over the place there. So
yeah,
I got to watch myself.
Yeah, there's lots in southern Calgary as well and in Montana. But here's what's happening is They're saying it's killing birds and bats and stuff like that, but what it does is these bigger ones, so not the smaller ones that spin faster, but you know these bigger ones that the blades are like the size of a fucking semi-trailer, bigger than that?
Yeah.
They don't look that big.
No, they're fucking big when you drive
huge.
up to them.
So the radius on those is like 120 feet or 140 feet or something. Some ridiculous radius on these. And they fly, they go so slow.
It looks like they're going slow, but if you look at the outside tip, it's fucking flying.
But the problem is it produces a really, really low frequency, a really long wave.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah, and it's related to nausea, and there's all kinds of tests showing increased heart rate and blood pressure. Like they've done tests where they strap you into all these measurement devices, and then you go closer to the windmill, and everything spikes. It's crazy. Basically a cardiac event. And this frequency is known to affect people negatively, this low frequency.
Did
you say how far it travels?
Like 30 miles or something, like 30 kilometers.
Yeah, you hear stories about people that have farms and they put up windmills in them and then they end up moving and abandoning the house because of the sounds are fucking with them. Yeah,
and I didn't realize, exactly. And I didn't realize that was a part of it. I thought it was like more of a mechanical, physical problem with birds and stuff, but apparently it's all about the frequency.
You thought it was all about the birds?
No, you're not listening. I said...
You thought there was just PETA people bitching about birds? That was the problem?
I didn't say anything about that.
I think you did.
No, I said it was all about the mechanical and physically damaging them, like running into the thing.
Listen for the windmill sound. Nobody can see your piano hands.
Okay, so what do you want to get to now? Dan Johnson was really interesting.
Ooh.
So, have you seen this guy before?
No, but you were talking about him a bit.
Yeah, because he's one of his Solutions Institute, right? So he's got empowering activism. So when you talk about activism and stuff, like this guy's doing real activism work. What did he grow? Panda. Panda was. Oh no, did I not write it down? So he had Panda. And I don't know what. I can't remember what it stands for. I don't want to go into it too much here. But they partly killed the Agenda 21, right? And they had the Tax Revolution Institute. Oh, they shut down the NDAA in multiple areas.
The NDA?
What?
You keep saying right. Right?
Did I?
Yeah. It's better for the show if I tell you.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
So he's talking about the 7 fundamental flaws, like the welfare problem and habit for humanity and government programs, Kiva and microlending. Oh, this guy is just really interesting because he's doing stuff, right? He's really making a difference on his own, right? Right? So he's saying
we should have someone on to talk about microlending.
Yeah, definitely. See, I said definitely that time.
There you go, right?
So he's saying take our money back, tax creditors, take our time back, charity societies, and take the country back. That's his solutions. Step 1, turn it back to us. Find those companies. Richard Gage, 9/11 was next.
Ooh, yes. Yeah. Cause's favorite.
Now, I don't see why other 9/11 people in the community think this is so filled with disinformation. Like, he did a pretty good presentation on a whole bunch of different examples of other buildings in free fall form, right? And comparing it to the World Trade Center 7 and the Twin Towers and how they came down in free fall. And he had videos of people that were there and the flashes and the bangs and the explosives that people heard. And,
right.
Security guard from P1.
Using the scientific method, he was saying how NIST wouldn't show the input data. And he talked about the firefighters for 9/11 truth and, the example of the false computer model for the WTC7 explanation, the mainstream explanation. They did some tests in the UK with steel buildings. This is what we were talking about the other day, Darren. Like, the tests show the building sags, right? The steel heats up and it sags. Mm-hmm. It doesn't just collapse into a pile of dust.
Blow away in the wind.
Yeah. Clearly.
But we didn't get to ask him any examples, or I would have probably got into like Judy Wood's theory or something, or the difference between what he thinks is a traditional demo compared to some of the conspiracies about higher tech weapons that were used to dustify this site.
Yeah, your last guest there talking about those kind of lasers and frequencies used to
exactly.
basically disintegrate those beams.
Yeah. And he talked about the thermite and stuff like that. So,
right.
And the destruction of evidence and how the steel went to China so quick. I mean, it's full of interesting information. I mean, the 9/11 thing is just,
We're going to do a 9/11 month.
Well, I don't know about a month. Maybe a couple shows, maybe.
We're going to do we'll do something. 3-4.
And then Cynthia McKinney was here. She used to be a Democrat. She was more on the political side, and she did a valued inventory of herself. And she realized how the left and right was truth and transparency. Like, there basically is an illusion, the left and the right. That was a really interesting chat as well. Oh, and then there was a guy, Jim Beers, Fish and Wildlife Service experience, and he was defending rights to keep the fur trade going with Russia, Canada, and the EU. Oh, and there was a surge of guns and ammo purchased after Clinton was in office, and and he talked about how they don't audit the Fed agencies. So this is some really interesting, like, personal experience where he found 50 to 60 million in excise taxes sent to California. He testified in Congress. The general accounting, it was changed. What did I put here about the General Accounting Office? There was no tracking on the spending. It was pretty interesting story. The stuff only gets done what they get the money for. So there was like hundreds of millions sent for the wolves, but there was a whole bunch left out for all this other stuff. And he was talking about how laws are made with the interest groups. And then Anthem Blanchard came on. He talks about cryptocurrency and how he created this Bitcoin and blockchain open marketplace. So he's got a digital currency, I believe, that's backed by gold. That should be really interesting. So they're combining the physical ownership of gold with cryptocurrency. And it's just happening. So I want to have this guy on real soon because his whole thing is just taking shape.
Book him, Dano. But I'm working on some people too, so careful.
Yeah, I know. We got to figure out this schedule. So Jeanette Fiddicum came on. I don't know if you guys remember this story in Oregon about Lavoy Finnegan who got murdered by the FBI.
No.
The whole spin, the whole media basically spun this whole thing as well, made them look like a bunch of militia kind of thing, and it was pretty bad.
Well, that wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, that wasn't too long ago. She was labeled a terrorist wife, and she was followed by the FBI and abused by the government. And then G. Edward Griffin came on, and he talked to, he had a good little final speech talking about the Oracle of Delphi and Temple of Apollo and Red Pill University and Freedom Force and all this stuff. Talking about keeping this movement going a little bit. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. I'm probably missing a couple guys, but sorry if I am. I have some good examples of, people making a difference in the world.
Yeah.
And non-dogmatic people talking about freedom and trying to, wake up from the fucking lies.
That's a nice drive, too.
Oh, it's gorgeous. On the way back, we went through the mountains a little bit. I guess we didn't go all the way through the mountains. We went on the plateau there. And the drive between Helena and Great Falls was, or was it the other way around? Yeah, no, I think Great Falls to Helena was amazing.
Great Falls to Helena is pretty good, but Helena to Great Falls is shite.
What is that?
I don't know. I've never done either.
Yep. So, any questions or anything, Cause?
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of something that I would like to attend for sure. I mean, I don't know, over the last 6-8 months, it's like, you start realizing things and it's like, well, what do you do? Right?
Yeah.
What do you do? You see, all media, food, everything. It's like pyramiding up to, 4 different companies, sitting there working hours and hours every week for what? To try and dig yourself out. to spend more money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
which is not getting you what it used to get you even 20, 30 years ago. Like,
yeah.
Did that have anything to do with your lifestyle change, you think?
Well, that's the funny thing, because I remember making a post of, opening your mind once you stop eating certain things, right? You just take a step back and like, wow, this stuff, you don't need this stuff at all to live anything like that. It's like, how much money do those companies make off of sugar and salt, and fried goods? It's crazy. That was part of it. There's that, the election, and then, I don't know, everything all kind of happened at once. And then gradually over, I guess, the last 16 years, listening to George Norrie and Art Bell after 9/11 there, I found them. And I was like, wow, it just opened up a whole world again to things you don't hear about in the mainstream media. It's a gradual process, but it kind of was accelerated over the last 6-8 months.
Yeah, and then we hear stuff like, how butter was suppressed and sugar was escalated by science in the 70s or whenever it was, or even earlier than that. And
oh, really?
We grew up as kids drinking fucking Kool-Aid with a cup and a half of sugar, of refined sugar, and like just just drinking chemicals and raw sugar, or not raw sugar, like refined sugar.
Yeah,
right.
Like, what kind of damage did that do?
Yeah, and I remember this. One thing I do remember, it's just kind of from the childhood kind of thing, is getting like packets of liquid fluoride you'd swish in school. They'd give you this stuff.
What?
Out with. Yeah, I remember growing up in Ear Falls. I was like, holy shit. I was like, I find that awful weird why they would give us that kind of thing. And that was not for a long amount of time, but I remember a couple of years for sure in like grade school, elementary school.
So nowadays, if you're in, I think it was in Oregon or Washington or California or something, the kids, and now I don't know, this was a listener that called in InfoWars, so I can't back it up, but I wouldn't doubt it, but CNN's played in the school for the first 20 minutes in the morning.
What? Really?
Yeah, for all these kids.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
See, that's scarier than the fluoride.
That can't be true.
That's worse than the fluoride. What would you want for your kids? Faster. If you could choose anything, would you like swish around with fucking liquid fluoride or watch CNN for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
My kids aren't exposed to either.
Yeah. I know, that's luckily good. I know, I'm trying to limit the fluoride. My dentist, I got to switch. I'm switching dentists because the other guy's still fucking on the fluoride kick. He's trying to give me fluoride. I'm like, no way, buddy. I'm not doing that.
Right.
Did you know it's on the top 10 fucking neurotoxin from the Lancet? You believe in scientific evidence? What about that?
Right.
What's the Lancet?
It's like one of the most prestigious journals out there. Lancet in Nature, like.
It's in the Lancet.
Yeah, exactly. Can you say it in the Lord Moncton voice?
The Lancet, you fool.
That's pretty good. So, you know who else I met there? Which was George Webb was there.
Who's George Webb? Remind me.
He's the guy that was. See, I knew you'd ask me this. He's the guy, the CIA, ex-CIA or ex-intelligence, I think, whistleblower on the Russian Hillary scam and the Wan brothers and all that. He's the one that was digging into all that. And the Dynacorp thing, I think. You remember, you've heard a bunch of his interviews now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He's out there trying to basically
take down the Clintons?
Pretty much.
He's going to get shot.
I asked him, I said, be safe out there, buddy.
What'd he say? Did you tell him to stay out of hot tubs, small airplanes?
Yeah. Don't do the bench press.
Yeah, no bench pressing.
He was like, so I introduced myself to him and I gave him the Grimerica card and stuff. And he's like, so tell me something I don't know. I'm like, oh God, how do you tell George Webb something he doesn't know? And we talked about the podcast and I told him consciousness is an illusion.
That's what you want to
know.
know.
I'm just kidding.
We talked about the Earth is growing, motherfucker.
Yeah,
and corkscrew him behind the sun at fucking 7,000 miles a second.
I know. If I only had like 5 minutes to think about it. Yeah, keep it podcast related.
I'm fucking freaking out, man.
We live in an electric universe, and the Earth is growing.
Well, it spirals behind the sun. The corkscrew method, 7,000 miles a second.
The Earth is hollow. You've probably heard that one before. But anyways, we had a good chat about the podcast. He says, "Oh, I'll pump you guys up a bit or something." And
what about flat? Was there any flat earthers there?
No.
Huh. How much talk was there about WikiLeaks and Vault 7?
Not a lot, actually.
Huh.
Yeah.
Suppressed.
Yeah, it kind of blows me away because I figured that'd be a hot topic for sure this year.
Yeah, and well, George Webb was saying, we were talking about the media and how fucked up it is, and he was talking about some of the independent media, and that's where we have to go for news. And I was telling him that's what we do, and we weren't going to get into the political stuff, but it's hard lately to stay out of it. And he talked about that Boiling Frogs. Who's that lady starting up their own media company from the Boiling Frogs? Now I can't remember. He says, "Have you had her on?" And I was like, "Well, she's on the list. We were gonna. I can't remember if I got her or not." And he says he was just going to get Trump to tweet the Iwan brothers are Russian and see what happens, and it'll just be a big disaster, like a big ruckus, right? So he's on top of what's going on with those Iwan brothers too, right? There's a big scandal there that hasn't really been fully unraveled yet, I don't think.
I look forward to it. Interesting times. I've never quite seen anything like what's happening between the White House and CNN and everything else right now. It's just fucking hilarious. It's nothing else. It's hilarious.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just sit back, a bucket of popcorn, and watch it unfold. It's absolutely crazy.
The thing is, it's really disturbing as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's disturbing how far apart both sides are. You know, I'm disturbed at the amount of fucking collusion and lies in the media and how fucked up that is. And yet other people are, you know, just completely blaming Trump. It's unbelievable how.
Oh, yeah. He's a scapegoat, right? I don't know. This guy trying to make changes, who knows?
Yeah, you'd want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, definitely. Looking in from the outside, maybe he's the guy that, you know,
that could make a difference.
Exactly.
All in all, fun trip.
Yeah, it was a good trip, man. Yeah. Darren doesn't want to get into politics too much.
It's all good. It's understandable.
Soon we can start going buck wild.
Oh, you want to talk about that a bit?
Created a platform. Well, I was just going to say,
because we haven't really begged. Yeah,
did the exchange rate kill you?
Yeah. I didn't spend too much there. You know, they included a barbecue there. Oh no, I didn't even. No, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, gas is cheaper down there, so I just
gas is way cheaper.
Yeah, even with the exchange rate.
Yeah, even with the exchange rate, I swear it's like half the price.
No problems with the borders both ways. Boom, flying through.
Good. I'm going in a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we are going to start having a back channel. This for these sorts of episodes probably, and other ones, maybe some more controversial political style interviews, and a lot of, maybe we were talking about maybe doing some debate style shows where Graham and I'll debate something.
Yeah, or I still think extra interviews as well, because we do sometimes have too many on the go, and we're trying to do extra content anyways. So. Yeah,
so we're going to start piling out at least an extra show a month, and maybe doing 2 when we can, and see how that goes. And we're going to start including that as a separate feed, completely separate feed, the Grimerica Black Budget feed. And basically anyone who is a subscriber to the show currently or subscribes to the show at any level will get that feed. If you make a one-time donation, you'll get that feed.
If you do any monthly donation, right?
Any monthly donation, you get the feed, or any one-time donation, I'll give you the feed too.
Mm.
And then, don't donate $1.
Well, you can though.
You can. You can. If you do, you
if that's all you can afford.
If that's all you can afford, then you can do a one-time donation of $1, and you'll get the feed forever.
Oh, one time. I was thinking monthly.
Yeah, if you do a one-time donation, it should probably be like $15. $5. So if you do at least a $5 donation one time, you get the feed forever. And if you do a monthly donation, if you're a subscriber now, you get the feed, and if you sign up, you get the feed. And we'll do it. Like I say, we'll populate it with at least a show a month. We'll try and do 2 when we can. And just a way to reward the current subscribers we have now that have helped to keep the show going to its current point, and hopefully entice a few more to take the leap as well, so we can maybe start
paying off some debt.
Paying off the rest of the debt on Graham's credit card. And
although that's what, we're not supposed to do according to Robert Kiyosaki, but then maybe we'll just invest it in new equipment that'll help us.
Yeah, that, or, just a budget for everything, anything, we could use all sorts of things around here that would help out that just costs money that we don't have right now. So check out grimerica.ca/support. That is coming. That's going to start. We're going to start with the first bonus extra content coming out in August. We'll shoot to have all that going by then.
And none of this is going to change. None of Grimerica.
Nothing in the current Grimerica is going to change. It's going to stay the exact same it is now. This is just over and above to anyone who supports the show. And yeah, like I say, that'll start in August. Basically, you just support the show and you get an email with a thing that you'll put in your podcast player the same way you listen to the Grimerica show, except you won't be able to find it in the iTunes store. You'll have to copy and paste it into your iTunes and it'll pop up, and there you go. You'll have the feed.
How does that work with YouTube?
I won't put them on YouTube.
Okay.
Maybe I can figure out that. I don't know. Maybe someone who does YouTube can let me know how that part of it would work. I haven't thought that part out, but I'll figure that out. Yeah, before we wrap it up there, Jeff, what do you got? Do you got anything while you're here? You have pop form? You got?
No, not really.
You have a rant?
Second podcast I'm on. No, not really. I just thanks for having me on the show. It's pretty awesome here, and keep on doing what you're doing. I think it's really, really great and informative. Gives a different view, different platform for a lot of folks out there. Thank you. Do you
have any questions for Graham?
Oh, just kind of curious. Is this also the official podcast for www.ratemycavs.com?
It's going to be now.
So there you go.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
There's parody accounts of Graham's calves. Right on. Well, I'll play us out. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I've only seen his calves represented in cartoon form for episode header there.
There's
a few real pics floating around there somewhere.
Here's a little tribute to Graham. Felix is Team Graham.
Why'd you have to speed it up?
He sent 2 styles.
Oh, okay.
Here's another. I don't know if I played this one.
Donate to Grimerica. It'll feel real good. Donate to Grimerica. All will be right with the world. Donate to Grimerica. It'll feel real good. Donate to Grimerica. All will be right with the universe.
I figured you would really like that beat. That seems right up your alley.
Yeah. Oh, did we talk about the chats in this too? Chats. Yeah.
Grimerica.ca/chats.
There's people in there right now. Kilgar says that he thinks I was getting bored of your story.
You probably were.
Did you come across like that? I didn't
notice. No, I don't care. I'm not talking to you. Talking to the listeners.
Somebody put a picture of deep fried Twinkies in there. Speaking of sugary snacks.
There you go.
Nice. Well,
maybe that's because you were talking about deep fried Oreos. Oh, yeah. That's how it works. Yeah.
Okay.
The chats is a perpetual thing going on.
All day, every day.
All night.
Sometimes all night. Now, sometimes they even voice chat for a couple hours.
Yeah, people are totally connecting in here. It's awesome.
Friendships are being formed.
Yeah, there should be a link for that in the show notes. And rate the show, too. That always helps. On iTunes especially.
Share the show. Support the show. And Felix's stuff is in the show notes too. The King of Jingles supplies most of our jingles now. And of course, anyone can provide jingles, but Felix definitely provides a lot. So his Bandcamp page is in the show notes. And anyone, of course, can send in music too that I can use in the show. that's always much obliged. And I will play us out with a couple of jingles. And
right on.
Call it a show.
And spam Graham, yeah. GRAHAM at Grimerica.com. Send me your stories.
Graham.
Bingo, bango, social media jingle. Don't forget to rate, comment, and or subscribe to the Grimerica newsletter. Bingo, bango, social media jingle. Don't forget to rate, comment, and or subscribe to the Grimerica newsletter. Yeah.
If more of you supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts.
Sending out good vibes. Good vibes. Good vibes. Good vibes. Good vibes.
108 breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection. And put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track. Shivers or vibrations and stuff like that. 108 breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection. And put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track. Shivers or vibrations and stuff like that. 108 breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection. And put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track. Shivers or vibrations and stuff like that.
If more of you supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts.